Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, if you are new to the channel, you've probably never seen this console before, but if you've been following me for a while, you might remember this one I built. Maybe 2, 3 or no, I believe 4 years ago. I'm still no absolute expert in the matter, but over time I learned from my mistakes. Back when I built this console, I used some lower quality materials, and as the years went by, that ended up causing a few issues, especially with white parts, which developed some problems over time. Well, if we take a quick look, as you can see to the bottom part, the black section, it is exactly the same as when I first built it. It's in excellent condition, no major issues at all. Now, when it comes to the white section, that's a completely different story. First of all, you can immediately notice that the little flap that opens has developed a slightly different shade compared to the rest of the white section. The paint on the top has become slightly yellow, and so the front section also looks a bit off compared to the rest. It stayed a little whiter. The top also developed some orange spots. There's not very obvious here on the camera, but they probably due to the dust buildup from sitting on the shelf for so long. Since the material is low quality, it's been absorbing that dust, dirt, and even the moisture in the air in the office. And because the paint itself is again low quality too, it ends up soaking all that in, and over time that combination create that strange blemishes, and now the whole white part, especially the top, just looks hard and a bit messy. And on top of that, the flap had a small broken bit that I fixed back then, but now with all of these paint issues it stands out even more. However, there's a reason I'm making this video, and that reason is to fix all the issues and give it an amazing shell swap with a brand new Bitfunks case that was released just a few days ago. So, by the talk I have with them and by the pictures I saw, this will be one of the most beautiful consoles I will have in my shelves. So, without a further ado, let's start the unboxing of this custom replacement shell. And on top we got this small black plastic bag with some symbols inside. We all know what those symbols are, and we all know how Nintendo can be, so I'm not too interested in giving too much attention to it. And next we got the shell, the beauty itself, safely packed inside of the box, just like every Bitfunks case, always well protected with padding or foam, and as usual it comes pre-assembled with all the extra accessories neatly stored inside. And when I say accessories, I'm clearly talking about the new rubber fit, for example, screws, and of course the front cover, the other small little panels, the bottom cover, and those are the accessories I'm referring to. There's nothing extra like buttons or anything unnecessary, just the exact parts needed for the console. Now comes the part where you sit back, relax, and I'm gonna show you how to transfer the entire interior of this console into the new Bitfunks shell. So let's go. Unlike consoles like the GameCube or the Super Nintendo, which use those weird Nintendo specific screws, this one still uses a standard Phillips screw, so any Phillips screwdriver will do. You just need to remove 6 screws and the console will open up. Now we're gonna start removing the interior screws. We're gonna start from these 3 on the right side of the console, 2 more on the left side, again 2 more on the back, and you should be able to remove the metal shield and move on to the next step. Normally I like to remove the cartridge cassette or the cartridge slot, which add 3 bolts on each side, 3 on the left and 3 on the right side. And after you remove the 6 screws, gently lift a little bit, pull to you, and you should be able to remove the old package or the old slot. And before we remove the motherboard, we have 2 screws to remove near to the video output, 1 on each side, and after that we can remove the motherboard assembly. Just a quick warning for this part: since I'm filming, I don't have this problem because I can always check the footage later, but if you are doing this yourself and not filming, take some photos along the way, because these cables can be easily confused. Not the power and reset buttons, but the controller 1 and controller 2, since they use the same connectors and they are pretty easy to mix during the reassembly. Next, we need to remove 2 more screws for the little board that hold the power and reset button. And for the final, we have 2 more screws as well for the control ports, in this case on the bottom part of the shell, on the outside part. Alright, everything disassembled. We're gonna use the motherboard, of course. We're gonna use the cartridge slot. I'm not gonna use the metal shields. I know it's a controversial topic, but in my opinion it makes absolutely no difference, so I'm leaving them out. And of course you will need the buttons and the controller ports as well. For the power buttons and reset buttons, don't forget to remove the older ones to install the newer ones later on. And with that being said, let's keep on moving and start to assemble the newer parts, or the old parts, into the newer shell. First, we're gonna start for the controller ports and for the little board with the power and reset button. This little piece is one of the extras that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, and I wanna make just a little warning. All of the threads in this new case are fresh, so take some care when screwing the pieces in. You will feel some resistance on the screws. Some of them might be quite tight, so stay calm, be patient, and in the end everything should be perfectly. Next, the power and reset buttons. The plastic buttons are identical, so you can place them either way. Then just the small plate in place and screw it in. In this case, using the original screws, not newer ones. All internal screws will be the original ones, while the all external screws are supplied new by Bitfunks. Next is the motherboard, and here you will need to reconnect the controller board, or the little controller board, for the power and reset buttons, as well for the controller 1 and controller 2 ports. As I mentioned before, earlier, this is where you need to be careful. So I made this mistake myself, swapping the controller 1 connector with the controller 2, so now I need to fix that and switch them back. And as I mentioned before as well, I'm not gonna use the metal shields, so I remove them now, and we can finally install the motherboard in its place. And we're gonna be honest, the looks is absolutely stunning. Now we can install the slot cartridge, and after that we can screw all of the screws, including the motherboard ones and the slot cartridge ones. So, and off camera, to keep the video from getting too long, as I mentioned earlier, the threads are really tight, so with some patience, it still took a bit of time, but now I've inserted and tightened all of the screws and we are ready to move on to the next step. The next step is to install on the top cover that little flap that opens and covers the cartridge slot, and then screw in the small front and rear little panels, and we're ready to close up this console. So now finally we can close this console, or should I say this little work of art, because it's turning out amazing. And for that, we'll use the 6 screws provided by Bitfunks. And after a good 5 minutes bolting up the new bolts, we can move on to the final details of this console. First, this little plastic cover, then the new rubber feet, and after that, the last detail. And the next and final detail is, of course, applying the front lettering. We got 2 options. Bitfunks offers them in red, like the originals, and in chrome. Considering the look of this console, I'm going with the chrome ones. So, let's apply them. It's a simple process, but with a few tricks. The adhesive is really strong. Once you stick it on, there's no going back. And if the letters end up misaligned, it's something you'll notice right away. So take your time, use a ruler, paper, masking tape, anything you can get your hands on, but don't scratch the console, of course. And after a good 10 or 20 minutes, I'm really pleased with the final result. The chrome looks amazing on this console. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I've done several console transformations into clear shells, and you know I'm a big fan of this type of case. However, I have to say, this is without a doubt the most beautiful one I have done. Maybe it's part because of the shape of the console, but also because it's fully transparent, it's not frosted, it's not tinted, it looks like glass. The finish is excellent, except for the little front flap where you insert the games, which doesn't hold perfectly and isn't 100% flush, but apart from that, the build quality is perfect. The console is extremely well made and the overall quality is just incredible. I absolutely love it. But for now, let's make some justice to this beautiful console and play some Super Mario. And before we wrap up, I almost forgot to mention that I managed to recover the stickers from the original console using just a little bit of it, and as you can see, they are now applied to the new shell. And now, yes, this shell is 100% complete. So this time, and normally, but this time Bitfunks absolutely nail it. Of course, the link to buy this shell is in the description below. Other than that, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope I can see you in the next one.